This is The Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral.com.
Good afternoon, Tuscaloosa. You're in the world of West Alabama. How we doing today this is Wednesday, Hump Day. Happy Hump Day. Welcome into the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central, BamaCentral.com. We're hanging out live in the Derek Daniel State Farm Studios just off of McFarland Boulevard. Looks like it's going to be a little bit of a rainy day today. I hope you guys all stay safe, enjoy yourself, get what you need to get done before anything nasty happens. Don't think it's going to get too nasty on the weather front, but, just observing what we see out the Derek Daniel State Farm Studio windows. Looks like it's going to be a little bit wet out there, and because it's going to be a little bit wet out there, it gets crazy on the roads here in Tuscaloosa. Make sure you have your right insurance, your best insurance. Derek Daniel, State Farm can take care of you. Call them today at 205-758-3391 for all of your insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, Derek Daniel is there. Ooh, we're going to have a lot of fun today on a Wednesday. I've got like a handful of random topics. No Alabama basketball game during the midweek this week. Want to say first, apologize to you if you noticed yesterday's audio was a little bit weird, so that was my own fault. Not your fault. Not your audio settings in your favorite podcast platform. Thank for everybody for jumping back and joining us today on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, or right there on the Bama Central YouTube channel. Have a lot of fun. What are we going to talk about today? We didn't talk about any mock drafts yesterday. Several guys are projecting where they see Tyler Booker, Jahad Campbell, and now even some more love for Jalen Mel Kiper Jr. Did you not go down to Mobile? Or what are you seeing on tape that makes Jalen Milroe your fifth overall quarterback in the class? Maybe the class, look, remember what we said a couple weeks ago? If you need a quarterback in this class, no, you don't. No, you don't.
You need a veteran free agent in this class.
Yeah. You definitely just need to save some money. A one-year quarterback, $8 million. Go give Andy Dalton $8 million.
Go get Cooper Rush, something like that. There's plenty of guys that'll be out there.
With that, we welcome in Mason Woods. Follow Mason Woods at MAWoods_. Good morning, sir. How we doing?
I'm doing good this morning. Doing good. Excited to talk some mock drafts. Draft is it's my favorite time of the year. I love the draft season. So excited to get into it.
Can you hear yourself well today? I know that wasn't your fault.
Good.
It was my fault.
Everything's good. Sounds like hopefully everything's back to normal today. I think we're good. But yeah, I'm doing good. Like I said, a little gross day out there a little bit. But
I'm supposed to do a 5K. I don't want to do that in rain.
Don't.
If you
I'm not going to motivate you. I'll just tell you not to do it. That's what I'll do. I don't want to do that. I'm not going to.
I know.
I hate running.
I hate it too, but next month's coming, and if you take too much days off,
I think you just got to do it blind.
That's utter hell. That is utter hell. Because I sort of. Okay, we're talking about the half marathon at the end of March. 3 years ago in 2021, I trained somewhat, but I trained basically up in till about a week or two before the race. Like 2 weeks before the race, I think I had an 11-mile run, and I was like, all right, I feel good. I'm ready to go. I did 11 miles. I can do 2 more on race day. And I sat on my butt for the rest of the time. Yeah, not a pretty sight. Not a pretty sight at all. Very much mental pain. Very much, why did I do this? I'm on mile 9, 10, 11 of the half marathon thinking, I'm going to die right here in this neighborhood in Tuscaloosa.
What if we get you some of those like fancy shoes with the springboard kind of thing to launch you forward?
Oh, I could do with that. We would love that. We need a little shoe deal.
There we go.
Absolutely. Currently, I recently bought some running shoes, Brooks Ghosts, 3 or 4 or 5 weeks ago. So trying to break them in. I will be running, whether it's raining or not. It's only 30 minutes. It's no problem. And I got a hot shower afterwards. It'll be no big deal. But y'all don't want to hear about me running. What do I have here, Mason? I have best coaches in college football. I have Ty Haywood and National Signing Day. And I have mock drafts written up. Which one do you want to start with, sir?
I think let's start with signing day.
It is signing. I mean, is it?
Yeah.
You're the recruiting man. Are you busy today? How busy are you?
I am extremely not busy, which is like so frustrating. I hate that this is the way that the recruiting schedule goes now. I don't like the early period. I miss when we had the big signing day, and it was, I mean, like ESPN is full 8-10 hour coverage. You've got every, it was an event signing day, and it has lost every bit of luster that it once had in favor of the early signing period, which is like a just jumbled mess of everything. So no surprises on the Alabama front on National Signing Day today. Many people, including you and myself, both knew that Ty Haywood to Michigan was a foregone conclusion. It was just a matter, I think, getting some paperwork signed. So he is a Michigan Wolverine.
Kalen DeBoer, you missed out on Ty Haywood.
You got Micah DeBose, you got Mal Waldrop, you got Michael Carroll, and you got
Jackson Lloyd.
Of course. I think you're doing okay in the offensive line department.
I think you start in a good place, Mason. I think you start in a really good place because we've talked about it a couple times just whenever this comes up. Oh, yeah, that's what I wanted to do. Now I can sit up straight and feel good and supported and get it going. Okay, so we talked about it times. The spectacle of the old February signing day, the Julio Jones puts his cat on, watching Pat Surtain choose Alabama over Georgia, the spectacle that was Rashawn Evans. I'm going to Auburn, or who was he?
Reuben Foster.
Reuben Foster. Yeah. The Quanjo brother who all sort of committed to Auburn. Like, you talk about the December date. That's probably best for the kids.
Sure.
Because they can enroll early and get onto campus. But there is zero buzz. What was it, the 20th this year, the 16th this year? I think it was the 16th. It was a couple days before the first round of the playoff. But because you're right there in the middle of the playoff, and you're right there in the middle of the transfer portal, and you're right there in the middle of coaching moves, and you're right there in the middle of just everything, I think from a media standpoint, you have companies that are overextended. You don't have, I mean, outside of the biggest names, like the biggest recruits in the class, you don't have the ESPNs going to these high schools anymore, staffing up, camera crews and doing this stuff. Your best access is, some of the bigger recruiting websites. They have their logo, but like, think about it. The Alabama guys, who the big recruiting guys are. They all have one employee. And that's great. And they all work hard. No disparagement. Zero criticism or disparagement in this statement. My point being is they can't be at every Alabama signee. Yeah. They can't be at every decision. They can't be at, well, maybe Billy's going to choose Alabama, Oregon, or Ohio State. That's going to be a really dramatic video. People are going to want to watch it. And I'm going to want to interview Bill. Like, it's just,
you think that the recruits now, with kind of the rise of social media and everything, because admittedly, say when like Julio Jones was committing, we didn't have Instagram lives, you didn't have Twitter live streams. Like Zion Gibson, 2026 recruit, live streamed his entire commitment ceremony, and it was
Ryan did too, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he did. Yeah, and it was a bit of a spectacle. He got up there, he throws the Tennessee hat on, everybody cheers. Whoa! He walks off stage, and then he opens a box, and out come houndstooth balloons, and he throws the hat, puts the hat, So, like, he made it his own kind of thing, and I wonder if that has also just played into it a bit, where the kids kind of have the ability to promote themselves more so now than they ever did.
When you're describing that, the thought that came to my head is the internet has killed the world. But maybe that's just me being a boomer. Yeah, probably. I mean, they are. Everybody's got a camera, and everybody can hook up to. That probably motivates. Well, we don't have to go down to watch Billy recruit because
live stream.
Because ESPN, we'll just take it from Billy's Instagram and post it on.
It's a win-win for both parties. Billy gets his following, and then ESPN doesn't have to do any extra work. It's, it kind of sucks. I think that it's played out that way, because I do miss it was appointment television. Oh, so and so's committing at 2:00 today. I gotta figure out what's happening, and that has gone a little bit. It's been replaced with check the YouTube live stream at, whatever time it is. But it's,
there's absolutely no one signing for Alabama today.
No, there isn't. There's as of now, of any of the sites that we cover within the Walsh Writing Network, no one has signed anywhere.
Missouri, Vanderbilt, and Boston College also no signees today.
Missouri and Boston College were the only two that even had a remaining commitment, and as of right before recording the show, neither of them had signed yet. So it's I guess we just got to evolve with the times, because like you said, I do think it is beneficial to the actual athletes, to the prospects themselves, being able to get on campus earlier and not have to wait.
Well, what's more beneficial? You're a Billy 5-star. Is it more beneficial for you to go ahead and enroll early as in the spring, or you're a Billy 5-star 17, 18-year-old? Is it more beneficial for you to stay those extra 3 months in mom and daddy's house, play your spring semester, graduate with all the rest of your class? Like, to me, now this comes from a perspective of not an elite athlete, not someone who was recruited at all. I always thought, like, yeah, it'd be cool to go to college early, but you give up that whole second semester.
Sure.
And granted, small time thinking over here. I don't know. Do you think enrolling early, it really, really is that beneficial? I think it is in one aspect, but go ahead.
In the grand scheme of things, maybe it's not. If you actually ran the numbers on players that enrolled early versus players that were drafted in the first round or something, I'm not sure, what the numbers would tell you. It'd probably be pretty even as far as players who showed up later and players who enrolled early. But I think that to the player themselves, maybe it means a little bit, you get to just feel more comfortable going into that first set of spring football where you're already you've kind of shaken off that label of being the new guy already. You don't have to come in fresh. You kind of already know what's going on. You get a feel for things. And also, a lot of those guys, they just want to go to the NFL. I want to get there as fast as I can. This is how I get there faster, is by showing up to college faster.
That's absolutely right. I think the biggest asset, as I work with my camera right there, I think the biggest additive is the fact that you get to have your first semester on campus without a season. So you get to, obviously they're practicing or they're working out. They're doing fourth quarter. I think fourth quarter probably is getting going relatively soon. Probably the next 2 weeks, if I had to guess. But so you do have activities, football activities, but you don't have game week and you don't have the stress of your in season. So you can go figure out where Reese Pfeiffer Hall is. Go figure out where Harris Hall is. Go figure out how to get to Shelby and how to get into some of these buildings. Go figure out where in the library. You know what? I love the basement, the dungeon, all the way to the bottom. Go past the steps.
They've got those on the corner of University, right across from Reese. I don't remember the name. I love that one. Yeah, they're renovating it now. Melissa told me the other day.
Oh, that was that's the education library, right?
Yeah, it had a really good basement. That one.
Okay, yeah. Make sure you check that out. So it's a good way to ease into. I'm moving away from mom and dad.
I think that's a really good point, because me and you both were college students. We weren't athletes, but that first semester was. Whoa, it is quite the adjustment. Just going from living at home and then basically complete freedom, where it's you can just decide what you do with all of your time. It's up to you. That's a lot that gets thrown on you. So yeah, I think getting that opportunity to maybe ease into it a little bit is certainly beneficial. And having that extra time to be at home with your family and your friends and things could also be beneficial in a way. I think it kind of goes both ways.
I'm just thinking about my mom and dad and how much I love and miss them and all, But no, signing day. Who gives a rip? Let's see let's see how these 247 and all these classes are. Is anything moving at all? I bet you it's not. Alabama overall ranked fourth. Composite ranks. That's what I want. Texas 1, Georgia 2, Ohio State 3, Alabama 4, Oregon 5, Michigan 6, Auburn 7, Florida 8, Texas A&M 9, and them LSU Tigers at 10. So we asked the same old questions. You didn't nail the in-state recruiting. Whoop-de-doo, la-di-da. But we don't have enough NIL. We're not paying NIL. Look at Ty Haywood going to Michigan because largely an NIL deal. Okay. Obviously, Michigan's a good school as well, but you finished fourth. You finished with with 3 5-stars. To me, and maybe my standards just aren't high enough. Maybe, I often think the Alabama fan, championship or bust, is a little bit nuts. Mm-hmm. We finished fourth. We didn't finish first. Georgia, look, it's a top 5 class. It's about keeping them on campus at this point and developing them. I think, considering the circumstances of the 12 months, I mean, where were you 12 months ago? You had 6 commits in this class, dropped all the way down to 1 during the transition, and that 1 still didn't sign. Where did he go? Where did Turbo Rogers go?
Ohio State, I think.
Did Turbo Rogers go to Ohio State? Let's see. Tevin Sinclair, Carter Lewis. Yeah, he did. Yeah. Anthony Turbo Rogers. Okay, so he didn't even keep him. So you went to 0, basically. And you rebuilt the class in 11 months.
And I mean, let's be honest, like, these are numbers on a screen. The difference between 1 and 5 is pretty negligible. At the end of the day, a handful of those kids will probably never even see the field. So if Alabama had finished with the 54th ranked class or something, panic. Sure, that's understandable. But from 1 to 10, basically, like, those are all just really, really good recruiting classes with really good players.
Yes, and it's all subjective on,
I mean, they're different site to site.
Right. Think about who, like, I'll be honest, when I see a high school recruit around here, I'm like, oh, I like that guy. I haven't seen it. I don't go to California games. I don't go to Texas games. I don't go to Michigan high school football games. I don't go to Iowa high school football games. And so I trust my eyes. I definitely trust my eyes. But as far as, like, and you got to put yourselves in these recruiting directors and in these area scouts, like, they're seeing a select number of guys. Oh, Billy's good. Charlie's good. Steven's good. I like him. But I really think Michael could be a 5-star plus. Great. But they're not seeing the other side of the country, really. I mean, sure, they get clips and they're watching it and they are doing good work.
But they're not observing every bit of high school football. They're observing their region and basing their rankings around what they have access to.
All right. Keep going. Signed letter of intent. All these guys have enrolled. Okay, yeah. According to 24/7, you got 18 enrollees. And then you've got 3 or 4 guys signed letter of intent who have not enrolled.
Chuck McDonald he's coming late.
Chuck, Caleb Edwards, and London Simmons are the 3 that he's got right here. And a bunch of these transfers that are all coming in. And these transfers, of course, are part of the recruiting ranking now. Honestly, like, I have no complaints. I'm not going to sit here and turn this into we didn't do good enough. We did everything's falling. I think you secure Keelan Russell, and the rest of it is pretty much gravy.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you hit all the spots where it's like, all right, you need a really good quarterback, get you a really good receiver, good corner, a couple good offensive linemen, a couple good defensive line. You hit all of you checked all the boxes on this recruiting class. I think it's nitpicking to focus on where they came from.
This is probably a good way to transition into what we saw with, what was this, Ari Wasserman? Yeah. Ari Wasserman, on 3 Sports, ranked his top 25 coaches. And I will use this number 4 recruiting class to ask Mason Woods how he feels about Kalen DeBoer keeping talent and developing talent in Tuscaloosa. Who got better this year? Who started at a level? Who started at a 6 and became an 8? Who started at a 4 and became a 6? Who started at, how do you think Coach DeBoer developed the talent this season?
I think 2 players immediately jump out to me, and it's Bray Hubbard on the defense, and it's Jeremy Bernard on the offense. I think Jeremy Bernard, we were excited about him as a transfer, thought he could do well, but he didn't do a whole lot at Washington. And then we saw it, like, as the season got on, he just got better and better. And by the end of the season, he kind of took that top wide receiver spot from Ryan Williams, who kind of held that wide receiver 1 spot for the first part of the year. Those are the two that immediately stick out at me as, like, big improvements. Now, on the other end, I don't think you can say that Jalen Milroe got any worse this year. I certainly don't think you can say he got better. I think it was just kind of a foregone conclusion, the level of quarterback play I think you were going to get from Jalen Milroe this year. It's just he was what he was. I don't think that he's miraculously going to find some coach that's going to unlock whatever ability is in there somewhere. Yeah. So I don't think you can really count Jalen Milroe's performance as a kind of a negative mark on Kalen DeBoer's coaching record. I feel pretty good about what he did this year. And Damani Jackson, he was fantastic. A guy that didn't really get what he wanted at USC, hits the transfer portal, comes to Alabama, and then finishes the season as what me and you would call one of the country's best cornerbacks. But maybe he needs to prove himself a little bit more.
So Ari Wasserman ranks Kalen DeBoer as the 9th best head coach in college football right now. I'm trying to check myself for biases. I'm trying to check myself for, okay, Joe, your automatic reaction is always, that's too low. That's too low. It's burned. I see. All right, the list is Kirby Smart 1, Ryan Day 2, Dan Lanning 3, Steve Sarkisian 4, Marcus Freeman 5, Dabo Sweeney 6, Deion Sanders 7, Kyle Whittingham 8, Kalen DeBoer 9, Josh Heupel 10, and then who cares about the rest of it? There's a bunch of fun names on the rest of it, 11 through 25, and we may discuss some of those in a minute. But I see this list, and it makes sense with my eyes. But then you look at the records, some of the records here. Kalen DeBoer is 7-0 against a combined Kirby Smart, Dan Lanning, Steve Sarkisian, and Kyle Whittingham, who were all ahead of him. Ahead of him, excuse me. But that to say, like, I have a hard time saying that Kalen DeBoer is a better coach than Kirby Smart. Okay, so sure. I'm giving Kirby the nod. And then we go, I'm just going to go these 1 through 8. All right. Are you better than Ryan Day?
I can give Ryan Day the nod.
Maybe, but yeah, you just won the national championship. You just won
and he's been a picture of consistency. Let's not act like, that consistency has been getting to the playoff and losing, but that's what they've done every year.
A lot of people, like, that's the Ohio State fans who want to fire him.
It's insane.
Do you realize how many fan bases are going to trade with you to go to the playoff every year and roll the dice
on one game?
Yeah, you just rolled the dice and y'all won this year. Like, stay with him. It was the most challenging playoff path in history, and y'all won it. So no, I'm going to give Ryan Day the nod. Okay, Dan Lanning becomes an issue for me.
This feels a little bit of like Golden Boy. What have you actually done, Dan Lanning?
Kalen DeBoer 3-0 against Dan Lanning. Mm-hmm. So 3 of the 7 games are against Dan Lanning. They won the Big Ten this year, right?
Sure.
Golly, that feels weird to say. You won the Big Ten this year. You've had really good records, but in your biggest moments, you haven't lived up to the hype. I guess the biggest Dan Lanning moment that I've got in my brain is all the bleep he talked about Colorado.
That's the only one I can think of.
And them going out there and absolutely destroying them.
They're playing for clicks or something. Oh man.
All right, so Dan Lanning, I got a problem with that one. Sorry, and also the resources. The resource different. I mean,
I don't remember the exact figure, but I saw the comparison.
It's stupid.
From how much Phil Knight has given to Oregon versus how much the Under Armour CEO has given Maryland. It was, I mean, like laughably large. The vast discrepancy between those two.
We'll keep going. I got another one that Marcus Freeman is a better coach than Kalen DeBoer.
This is preposterous.
Oh, well, I skipped four. Steve Sarkisian. You want to start
I'll give
with?
you Sark. I think so. I think that's okay. I think
Even though he's 2-0 against Sark,
yeah,
got him at Washington twice, right? Yeah, got him in 2 bowl games. Now, okay, I don't give a bleep about what is it, the Holiday Bowl, the non-playoff game, bowl game. But then you did beat him in the playoff.
Sure.
Go ahead.
I think you can make the argument either, this is one where you can argue it, but I don't really have an issue putting Sark over him. I'll say that. Now, putting Sark at 4, kind of crazy, considering some of the people that's after him, especially one that maybe even has a lot more accolades than Sarkisian.
But I don't care about this is right now. I don't care about Dabo.
Is it right now?
I mean,
I guess, yeah.
It's right now because Bill Belichick's on this list.
Okay, yeah.
At number 21, without even coaching a college game.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, no, that's fair. You can argue it, I think. I don't necessarily have an issue with saying Sark's a better coach, though.
All right, yeah, I'm not going to fight you too hard. Marcus Freeman, though, I will fight you on.
What? 2 years?
One good one.
One good one.
Let's
3 years. 2021 and so 4?
Yeah, let's find out. Let's not guess. He's got a coaching record right there. 21, 22, 3, and 4. 4 years in, he's 33-10. He's won the Gator Bowl, the Sun Bowl, the first round of this past year, the Sugar Bowl, the Orange Bowl, and lost the national title game. Big 14-2 energy this year. Like, he got a lot out of Notre Dame this year.
Sure.
I don't have an issue with it, I guess.
I don't know.
Just because the talent that he's dealing with at Notre Dame is not near as high as the talent that Sarkisian's dealing with at Texas and at Lanning at Oregon. And
yeah.
I
guess I'm factoring in like body of work too much, thinking about, DeBoer had that same issue when he was at Washington. Had the same issue. I don't know. I guess, yes. If we're talking like currently based off of the job that you did last year, I guess I can't argue Marcus Freeman being where he is.
Oh, I mean, and I'm wrong. It's technically just his 3rd year. He only coached the bowl game in that 2021 game, filling in for Brian Kelly.
Took his family. Baton Rouge.
I don't know.
Dabo, which we kind of touched on.
There we go. Oh, missed my tab right there. Okay, yeah, Marcus Dabo, get out of here. I'm sorry.
I mean, he brought Clemson back from the depths of hell and put them in the playoffs.
In the ACC.
Sure.
I don't care. Here's my question. You know the old Bear Bryant question. Mm-hmm. He can take his and beat yours in. He can take yours and beat his in. You put Kalen DeBoer on the Notre Dame sideline and you get Marcus Freeman, Alabama. That's where I'm kind of at with Marcus Freeman giving the nod just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how I'm playing a lot of these games. You put Dabo Swinney on this sideline and you put Kalen DeBoer on the Clemson sideline, I think that it would be a 2-score game in Kalen's favor.
Very possible.
I just do. I think he's going to play Dabo play so conservative, and Dabo would just do certain things.
Yeah. Again, I'm too. I think I'm too in my head on resumes.
I
gotta be more current because Dabo, you have been the picture of like resistance to change for the last 4 years. So
the only NIL in this program is GOD. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord.
They got him a transfer this year, didn't they? I don't remember where he came from. I think they did actually acquire one player in the transfer portal this offseason.
Let's see. They are
from Iowa.
It's the class of 25, right? Yeah. Okay. So they ended up this year with the number 26 recruiting ranking, and they have three transfers.
Three transfers.
Jeremiah Alexander from University of Alabama.
That's right.
Tristan Smith from what college is that? Tristan Smith from Southeast Missouri State, and Will Helt from Purdue.
Hey.
All right, so yeah, you got a big issue. So I'm at Dan Lanning. I have an issue with. I'm at Dabo Sweeney. I have an issue with. So we're moving up from 9 to 7 at least. I have an issue with Deion Sanders too.
God, big, massive, enormous issue.
Like outside of
this was the year that you were supposed to do it, Deion.
It makes no sense to have him there.
It's mind-boggling to me. What did Colorado finish this year? 9-4, or did they win their bowl game?
Well, let's double check just to make sure. I don't think they won their bowl game.
I don't think they did either.
All the way down. And that's prime prep. Colorado 8-4. Yeah, they were 9-4. They lost the Alamo Bowl.
9-4 this year. What were they last year?
4-8.
4-8.
Like so, high level football. That's 13-12.
I'll give you. You obviously Deion. You get your first year at Colorado. You came off of what were they? They won one game the year before. I'll give you a pass for that year. Okay, cool. But then you had to come out this season and you had to win 10, 11 games. 9? You do not belong that high on this list.
I'm sure we're factoring in. Oh, look what he did at Jackson State. Won the cell.
But if we're doing that, we have to do that for everyone else, and then you have to say, all right, well, Dabo has multiple national championships.
Kalen DeBoer, multiple national champions.
Bingo. So you can't. We can't play that game for Deion, but not play it for anyone else.
That's a horrible record to me.
Yeah,
and. That's a horrible record, and I'm very curious to see what happens this coming year when you don't have Travis, when you don't have Shadir Sanders. How do you replace all these guys that you invested in so heavily? I think that Colorado's a house of cards, really, and going to fall apart, and you're probably in for another 4-8, 5-7 year.
I'm pretty surprised that we did not see Deion make the jump to the NFL. I really thought for a minute that was going to happen there because exactly what you said. I don't know what Colorado's even doing this year. You got the 27th overall ranked recruiting class, so you did okay. You landed Julian Lewis, big-time quarterback, so maybe that's your immediate Shadir Sanders replacement. I don't know. It seems like they invested a whole lot into making a run this year, and then it didn't pan out, and now they're kind of left holding their hands. All
right, and then probably the worst one that's ahead of him? What Ari Wasser, you cover this sport, don't you? I know you do. You're employed. You cover this sport, and you put Kyle Whittingham at 8 above Kalen DeBoer. Okay, I understand. Utah, low expectations. He's raised the bar. Utah used to be a cutesy little program when Urban Meyer was there, and I remember it was, Alex Smith, Utah, where'd they come from? And then there was, Mountain West, right? And, we're Pac-12 members, and now, now they're in the Big 12, first year in the Big 12. You went 5-7. You didn't make a bowl game. Your last 3 bowl appearances, you lost the Las Vegas Bowl, you lost the Rose Bowl, you lost the Rose Bowl. Yeah, the last 3 years you went 8-5, 10-4, and 10-4. But goodness gracious,
insanity.
2 years combined. What's 8-5 is 13. So you're 13-12 the last 2 seasons without a bowl victory, and you're a better coach than Kalen DeBoer.
Another year for Cameron Rising. That's what they need. That's what Kyle Whittingham needs. It's ridiculous.
That one doesn't make any sense to me at all.
It's absolutely insane. I mean, there's even there's so many names after Kyle Whittingham that belong above him to me. That's just crazy.
I mean, Kurt Signetti at 12 does.
Yes.
Kenny Dillingham at 13 belongs ahead of him.
Yep. I'd put Lane Kiffin above Kyle.
Yeah, I was about to say that, but I didn't want to even go all the way.
I mean, I would.
So I have 4 guys that Kalen DeBoer should definitely be ahead of. So that takes him from 9 to 5 in my rankings, just off what I'm feeling.
That feels more appropriate. I think getting him in that top 5 to 6 range, probably right in there. That feels about where he should be. Because obviously, like we said, Kirby Smart, Ryan Day, I'll give you those. I'll give you Steve Sarkisian. I'll probably give you Marcus Freeman based on last season. But it starts to drop off after those.
All right, so here's just a conceptual issue that you could help me with. Because I always argue, no, we're journalists. We're not doing things for clicks. Come on, we're not doing this for clicks. This is how I really feel. This is what I really think. This list is all for clicks.
1,000%.
And Ari Wasserman, you're obviously a big name, and I'm not trying to cut you down here, but this list is total hooey, all for clicks. This is all, and On3 Sports has been doing this. Andy Staples ranking Auburn preseason number 9 or whatever.
I mean, even in just the last 2 days, they've had, I think, 3 or 4 different people drop their own playoff predictions for next season, each of them including, one ridiculous team that's why are they there? What are we doing, folks?
Whittingham at 8, that's a 4 clicks move. DeBoer at 9. We're just going to put the Alabama coach just down. That's a 4 clicks move.
Bill Belichick at 21.
Yes, Bill Belichick, who hasn't coached a single bleeping game on this list, is ridiculous.
Brett Bielema. I like him. I love Brett Bielema making an appearance on the list.
Probably about right. 18. That's probably about right. Lincoln Riley on this list is silly. 22.
Preposterous.
I mean, offensive mastermind, but
I know that Oklahoma did not on paper do very well this year, but Brent Venables is a better coach than 23, I think.
Yeah, I think a lot of this list is just let's get people talking. And you know what, Mason? We fell for it.
Sure enough. And I will every time.
Let's keep going. We'll tell everybody where we are. We are live in the Derry Daniel State Farm Studios right off of McFarland Boulevard. You can find us just past the Tiger Rock on the left, right past Wrestling Rehab as well. Come see Derek and his team, Red Reese and Victoria. They'd be happy to talk to you about any insurance concerns that you might have: home, life, auto insurance, boaters insurance, renters insurance. You need an umbrella policy that's going to cover all kinds of things in your life. They can take care of you and really make sure you're prepared for any and all of what happens in life. I mean, things just happen, and that's why you need insurance. So call Derek and his team at 205-758-3391. Let them know that the Joe Gaither Show sent you. Like a good neighbor, Derek Daniel is there. Call and see how much Derek can save you today. There, where's my list here? Best coaches in college football, Ty Haywood, National Signing Day. I have Florida win total that I don't really care about. Mock draft is really the next thing. Daniel Jeremiah is officially the greatest, is the number 1 draft analyst.
I am a fan myself as well.
Daniel Jeremiah mocks Tyler Booker to the Chicago Bears, and we will hear no other stories. I know a lot of mock drafts. A lot of people are putting Kelvin Banks, the Texas tackle. A lot of people are putting Armand Membu, the Missouri interior lineman. And look, I think if you are mock drafting for the Chicago Bears, it's really just insert lineman here.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, would you be even upset with any of those options?
No. I mean, I think all 3 of those guys, and then Will Campbell included, 4 of those guys. Just don't do that. That's what people want.
That's going to be so fun.
People are, Joe, if we just throw a bunch of money at Trey Smith and then we trade for the Falcons center, and then basically we're set at the offense and we can draft Ashton Jeanty at 10.
Madden. Perfect.
No.
You get Ben Johnson, his Jahmyr Gibbs 2.0.
No. We need the offensive line built up first, no matter what. And there's so many running backs in this class. This running back class is probably 15, 20 deep or so.
It is a good one.
We don't need to be spending no number 10 pick on a running back, y'all.
No, let him drop to the Cowboys.
But Daniel Jeremiah is my favorite. Matt Miller yesterday, 2 days ago for ESPN Plus, had Tyler Booker going at 25 to the Houston Texans.
He used to have a really, really great podcast I listen to all the time.
Yeah, and then he got hired by ESPN, right? And he stopped that.
It was a great show. It basically was like what got me into like really wanting to be into sports media and stuff. Honestly,
Matt Miller, love it.
First time I'd ever really done like a consistently listened to like the same kind of podcast or anything. Watched ESPN obviously, but who do you have your Bears taking? Did he have Tyler Booker there?
Matt Miller, no. No, he had Armand Mimbu.
Did he have Tyler Booker in the first round?
Yeah, had at 25 for the Texans.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Ooh.
Right
Are we in this? Are we both in the Derek Daniels State Farm studio?
Sometimes I wonder.
Trust me. Me too. Don't worry. Sometimes I'm looking at this and like in 5 different places.
Somewhere else.
Okay, let me go back to that because I did
Daniel
not.
Jeremiah did have Jahad Campbell. He was 18 to the Bucks.
That's been a popular pick.
I like that pick. I think that would be really good because we kind of talked about it a little bit. I know Levante David. I think he's about to hit free agency, but like that guy's a Buck for life. They're not going to let him go anywhere. I'm sure they will work out a deal and probably be a short-term deal if I had to guess because he is on the older side on the back part of his career. And like you just let Levante David teach Jahad Campbell how to play linebacker in the NFL. There's not many better people to learn from. And then you just set him loose in a year. That'd be pretty fantastic for Jahad Campbell, I think.
Matt Miller has him at 18 to the Seattle Seahawks.
Okay. I would like that pick.
Seattle fans would rather the team address the trenches in round 1, but general manager John Snyder has shown in the past he values the linebacker position more than others. So while there's a strong case for Alabama guard Tyler Booker here, if Seattle goes all in on running the ball in 2025, I'm looking at how Campbell's 3-down impact could fill a massive hole. Additionally, Campbell would bring value as a pass rusher on 3rd down. He's the closest thing Mike McDonald to get to what he had with Roquan Smith in Baltimore.
Selfishly, I always hate when Bama players get drafted to like the Niners or the Seahawks or really any of those teams all the way out there because you just never get to watch them on TV, basically. It sucks.
I think he's going to be a great player. Who's going to be better, Jahad Campbell or Tyler Booker? Who's going to have a longer career? I guess career. That's the offensive lineman, probably.
Yeah, but as far as like, I think Jahad Campbell may reach a higher peak than Tyler Booker does. As far as I think Jahad Campbell may get to that being like, oh, this guy's one of the best linebackers in the NFL. And Tyler Booker could be a very, very good guard. It might reach that point of being one of the best in the NFL, but with linebacker, it's a little more. It would have been a little more shine.
It would have been great to have him back one more year.
Oh,
because I think that he's still got another step in his game, as you're alluding to. I think we've seen about the peak of Tyler Booker. He's probably, everybody's got steps to take.
Sure.
But I think Jahad Campbell still has a lot of room where he can grow as a linebacker and grow as a defender. And as he does that, I'm with you.
Get him to the Bucks would be good. We talked about it the other day. I think I really would like to see him go to the Cowboys, though. Pair him up with Michael Parsons.
How about some Cowboys?
That would be a ferocious defense.
So I had to watch Vanderbilt last night. Vanderbilt blew a second half lead again. Looks like Auburn crushed Oklahoma.
And then, we had Chad Baker-Mazara talking all kind of crap on the court afterward.
Oh, yeah? Because I saw our friend Kevin Skarbinski tweet about that. Oh, I thought he would learn his lesson. What happened? Because as soon as the Vanderbilt game was over, I moved off of basketball.
I don't know really what happened. As I understand, he just kind of stood on the court jawing at the Oklahoma team as they walked off, standing at midcourt, kind of making a show of it. Whatever. I think people are just.
Oh, yeah, I got you.
Alabama fans look for, and Auburn fans do the same thing. Any sports fan does this to their rival, but every game they look for reasons to poke fun at each other and pick things apart. But at the end of the day, Auburn won 98-70, I think. So not a whole lot you can pick apart from there. They have the hardest schedule in the country, and they are one of the best teams in the country.
All right, I'm watching it. He's at midcourt, and he's holding his jersey kind of up off his chest so that everybody can read Auburn on his chest. And he's not saying anything. He's just holding it there. But Bruce Pearl standing there. You got teammates standing there. They're all looking at him like, "What are you doing? Bruce Pearl is holding his hand out, trying to get him to stop, and then he just gives up.
Yeah, usually, whatever. It looks a little goofy, I guess.
Can you hear this?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What's he saying to the camera in just a second? Did you hear what he said? Could you make it out?
Maybe that's what I said, and then something I couldn't quite make out.
Yeah, he just like pointed at the camera right at that last little bit. So
This
great.
is just this is just classic internet fans wanting to rile each other up. I think it was a little hard to find something with the actual play to poke fun at for Alabama fans. So you had to pick something that happened after the game.
What else?
How'd Vandy do?
No,
tell me about that because I didn't watch it. I didn't really watch any SEC basketball. I mean, like we said on the show, basically, I kept up with scores and that was about it. I saw Vandy was up, and then I saw next thing I knew they were not up, and it was like, oh, there, that's tough.
Can't defend the 3-point line to save their life. They gave up 7 of 12 in the second half to Florida from beyond the arc. And really, they've got size issue. They got a real size. They don't have a single player on the roster over 6'10". It's Byington's first year. We brought in 11 new players, a lot of them from James Madison, and they take a 1-point lead into halftime because they're playing fairly well and they're playing decent defense. But both their bigs end up fouling out, and Florida out rebounds them. And I mean, Vanderbilt did outscore them in the paint 42-40, but it was basically we ran out of gas. We don't have enough steam to stay. I think they are a good team, and I think they play hard. From what I've seen over the last couple of games, watching them and covering Vanderbilt on SI for us, but I just think that they lack some serious depth to compete at the top level of the SEC.
Where does this put Florida in the SEC standings now?
4th, right?
I think so.
4th or 5th.
4th. Yep, 4th, 3 games out of the lead, behind Missouri, Alabama, Auburn.
Right. So
I mean,
I don't think Florida's really that good though. I saw them,
I'm not. I watched one game. I don't even remember who it was they played. They were just, and I didn't even watch it that close. I just kind of had it on in the background, but they didn't overly impress me.
Yeah, I'm not really concerned about Alabama's matchup against Tennessee, Florida.
Ole Miss, though, gets a big home win against Kentucky.
Kentucky
is fraudulent. You may have been correct with your assessment of them yesterday on yesterday's show.
I mean, I think they're a good team, but the same sort of way. I
they're
don't
front
know.
Runners.
Right. When they're shooting well, when everything's working right, when we're playing in Rupp, but when Arkansas punches us in the mouth, we're going to let one loss turn into 2 because we're in a pity party. Yeah, so tonight you got Missouri, Tennessee. That might be interesting.
I'm interested to see what happens in that game.
Arkansas, Texas, LSU, Georgia. God, those are going to be ugly games. Do not watch those games.
No, but Missouri, Tennessee will be very entertaining, I think. Well, entertaining is relative. The outcome will be entertaining, I guess, to find out
38-36
to lose.
Or 38-36 is it going to be?
This is going to be a night once again of just checking box scores at the end of the game.
42-43.
Oh, I can't watch Tennessee play basketball.
Tennessee, the #1 defensive rating. Great.
What
Awesome.
do you think the over/under is for that game?
We can.
It's 134.5, but 134. I mean, that's.
What is that divided by 2? Because I'm not a math major. That is 67 points. 67 all. And then you factor the spread. You factor the 8-point spread in there. So take 8 away from they're looking at like what? 59, 70. Yeah. Gross.
Yeah, no. This is bad. That's bad for the sport of basketball. Rick Barnes, I think he needs to be just ushered into retirement because he's actively hurting basketball.
Missouri, the 14th overall offensive efficiency, 43rd defensive efficiency. Their tempo is 179. Tennessee's tempo, 339. Like Rick Barnes,
such a just uninspiring, boring brand of basketball. And hey, it works for him. Oh well, works for him. I mean, I don't know how well it actually.
Yeah,
works.
what does that mean? What? When is the last time they actually regular season? I'm sure.
Yeah,
All right. Conference Tournament Championships 2022 is the last one, and they did win the regular season last year.
Okay,
Right. Because it came down to pretty much Alabama and Tennessee and Auburn. Alabama finished 4th last year, right? 4th or 5th.
Right.
But what did that? It didn't do anything.
No, they never do. They hardly ever do anything.
They got to the Elite Eight last year and lost. That's their second Elite Eight ever. 2010 and 2024. Great job. Well, Mason, I'm about out of juice for the day.
Yeah.
Let me make sure. Hold on. Let me go through my likes.
Really?
Well, let me go through my likes because I know I always like it. Oh, well, a lot of my likes are political at this point. Roll Tide. Okay. Keep going. Yep, we love you, EO Sky. Okay, we'll finish with this. This is from College Football Report on the Twitter machine, and they're ranking hot seats. They're ranking coaches hot seat. We have, and this is not going to be too long. We have a scorching hot seat. Oklahoma, Auburn, Florida State, Wisconsin, and Arkansas are all under the scorching. I'm not sure that Arkansas fits under that anymore.
I don't think Oklahoma is hot even.
I do.
Really?
Yeah.
I think he did more than enough towards the end of the year to buy enough good grace with the fans of Oklahoma.
If he wins
over Alabama,
if he wins 9 games next year,
sure. I'm pretty sure they're going to. He had every receiver on the team get injured this year.
True.
There was a lot of circumstances going against the Oklahoma Sooners, and they still put out a relatively okay season.
Okay, so he's got scorching hot seat, warm seat, room temperature, cold, and Iceman.
I'm going to take a guess. He's got Kalen DeBoer on room temp.
No, that's the reason why I wanted to bring it. He's got it on warm.
Okay.
The
Thing's a bit ridiculous.
That's silly.
Yeah. I mean, I think that for the same reasons I think that having Brett Venables on the scorching seat is ridiculous. I think these are both very, very good coaches that just arrived where they are. The first year maybe didn't go exactly the way they wanted it to, sure, but give them a little time. Golly. And I don't think either of those schools are reactionary enough to fire a coach after like 1 or 2 years like that.
Yeah, he's got Mississippi State, Jeff Lebby as well under warm, which I don't
the
even think.
Expectations there are nothing.
Yes. You've got hot seat Billy Napier, Florida. I think he moved off that a little bit with their close.
I think so, but I think if they don't win 10 games next year, they're going to maybe seriously think about it.
You missed one. You've got Mario Cristobal, Miami, under room temperature. He's at least in the warm category.
I would say inching into the hot category too. Because that into the season this year was such a disaster for Miami. I mean, you had everything in front of you. All you had to do was beat Syracuse, and then you put on a disastrous performance. Close the year, I think, with 3 straight losses.
Am I just silly to think that they're not even like firing Kalen DeBoer is not even like?
I don't think that's even been.
It's not
anywhere in the building.
Right.
Like no one has even thrown that out there.
Greg Byrne got one of those letters from Billy from
He
whoever,
threw it right in the shredder.
he said threw it away.
It's insanity, people.
He gets those. We don't like you. You made the wrong choice, and he's he's binding them together for his comedy book.
Yeah,
for his bathroom reading.
It is and you've talked about it, the sentiment, and I don't know for sure. Now this is us speculating, but I'm pretty dang sure this is the way it was. Like the sentiment in that building was just, thank God we made it, people. Let's move on to 2025.
It had to be.
God.
I think it had to be. Nope.
Building didn't burn down. Field's still over there looking good. We got a lot of fans still. Everything's A-okay.
We went to a bowl game. We beat Auburn. We beat Georgia.
Still and selling LSU. Out BDS. We're all right.
We'll finish with this. I'm supposed to call somebody who got their tickets revoked. I did tell that guy I would call him today. And so maybe I'll find out more of the story. My suspicion is that he was selling his tickets to third-party websites or giving them away?
Yeah, I'm gonna say that if the most recent available Facebook post is you trying to sell your tickets, that may have been a reason that they were revoked. I don't know, but just maybe. Critical thinking.
But I will do my due diligence, and
Sure.
I'll call this gentleman, and I'll hear his side of the story, and we will tell you about that tomorrow on the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central and BamaCentral.com. You followed Mason Woods at MAWoods_. You followed me at Joe Gaither 6, and you're listening to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and on Amazon. Talk to you tomorrow right here on Bama Central and BamaCentral.com.
Thanks for joining us on today's edition of the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. Keep up with Joe on all his social media pages at Joe Gaither 6. Subscribe, rate, and review the show on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and be sure to read us daily at BamaCentral.com.